Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Body Mind Healing. My name is Maria Sanchez. I am a holistic health consultant, a family nurse practitioner, a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, and a doctor in nursing practice. The case for today is the wound of humiliation. Inside each of us resides an inner child who was once innocent, pure of feelings, and full of dreams. During this stage of their life, they were forced to face challenging experiences, pain, when they still could not understand or process those experiences. And living through that, it marked them for life. They developed deep and traumatic scars that became rooted in their unconscious and subconscious. It is possible that our inner child was a victim of abandonment, abuse, or simply lacked the necessary emotional care. Whatever the circumstances, that child today carries with them fears, beliefs, and distorted behavioral patterns because their immature mind interpret those challenges this way and now live trapped in the illusion that life is an unsafe and threatening place. The common denominator of the wound of the inner child is the lack of attention, of a sense of belonging, of protection, and of emotional security. That child simply longed to feel loved, recognized, and accepted just as they were. But by not receiving that unconditional love, they learned to hide their essence behind masks. The most common inner child wounds are 5. The wound of rejection, abandonment, humiliation, betrayal, and injustice. Today, we will review the wound of humiliation. This wound forms in early childhood, typically between the first and third year of life, when the child experiences repression of their bodily and emotional freedom. It often develops when caregivers, instead of guiding with love and respect, ridiculize, criticize, or shame the child for their basic needs or physical pleasures, such as eating, exploring their body, freely expressing themselves, or playing. The child may frequently become the target of mockery, comparisons, and physical, emotional, or even sexual abuse by one or both parents. This repression often comes with a heavy moral or religious burden, planting deep shame in the child for simply being who they are. The child internalizes the belief that something is wrong or shameful about their very nature. They grow up feeling restricted, watched, and judged. Their freedom is crushed by an authoritarian figure who humiliates or publicly shames them, making them believe that enjoying life, their body, or pleasure is something to feel guilty about. As a defense mechanism, the child adopts the masochist mask, a personality structure centered on self-sacrifice, guilt, and denial of their own needs. The child becomes an adult who puts others' well-being above their own and fears enjoying life due to fear of punishment, criticism, or rejection. The physical characteristics of the wound of humiliation include a thick body build, often overweight, especially around the abdomen and back, short-statured and wide neck with fat accumulation called buffalo hump, round face with large innocent eyes reflecting a wounded child. Sweet achy voice, tends to wear tight clothing that highlights round features, often stains the clothes. Health issues may include back pain, liver problems, respiratory issues, hoarseness, and angina. Emotional and behavioral characteristics of this wound include living under emotions of sadness, shame, and guilt, gaining weight unconsciously to take up space in others' lives, struggling to express true needs and desires, doesn't know how to set boundaries and deeply fears others' judgment, feeling powerless in close relationships and responsible for others' suffering, prone to impulsive behaviors like overeating, shopping, or overworking, believing their freedom depends on external factors, not their own power, living from obligation, sacrifice, and a need to serve others for validation, experiencing abuse or controlling relationships, especially with maternal figures, finding it hard to enjoy life or rest, feeling guilty when doing so, carrying a constant emotional debt to the world and harbors deep self-rejection, often has self-critical and self-destructive thoughts, and consciously seeks situations that allow suffering or self-sabotage. How they protect themselves in adulthood. The adult who carries the wound of humiliation often suppresses their own needs and focuses solely on others. They live to please, self-sacrifice, and forget themselves. This strategy, rather than helping, traps them in a cycle of guilt, emotional dependency, and low self-esteem. How to heal the humiliation wound. Healing this wound means reconnecting with the self-worth, learning to set boundaries, and recognizing the self as worthy of love, pleasure, and respect, without having to please or sacrifice for others. Key steps include developing assertiveness, meaning learning to say no without guilt. Setting healthy boundaries, meaning protecting your physical, emotional, and mental space. Validating your own emotions and needs, meaning stopping minimizing your feelings or desires. Practicing forgiveness, meaning towards those who cause the wounds and towards yourself for the ways you have denied your needs. Cultivating self-love and self-esteem, meaning not as selfishness, but as a form of self-respect and self-care. Reconnecting with pleasure and joy, meaning allowing yourself to feel happiness without fear of punishment or judgment. A key phrase for healing is, I deserve. I deserve to exist, to enjoy, to be happy, to be free, to set boundaries, to have my own voice. It is vital to understand that having the wound of humiliation does not define who we are, even though it has influenced how we have lived up to now. Recognizing this wound is not about blaming our parents or caregivers, but about freeing ourselves from the emotional burden we have been carrying since childhood. Healing the wound of humiliation is not about stopping feeling, it is about learning to treat ourselves with tenderness, love, and compassion, free from guilt, fear, and self-sabotage. It is about recognizing that we do not have to put ourselves last to be accepted or loved. It is about understanding that we do not need to ask permission to exist. It is about accepting that we deserve everything we desire, and we can achieve it without running the risk of being humiliated or judged. We are not here to serve from pain, but to live with dignity, respect, compassion, freedom, and love for ourselves. May the inner peace we cultivate today expand and guide us always. Until next time.